Alrighty guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to build part E on your corner brackets. I'm going to build a little more quickly using Inventor than I have done before. So what I'm going to do is find out that my dimensions are in inches. So I'm going to hit New, Standard Inch IBT, and click Create. When I start my new sketch, the first thing I'm going to do is build that base plate and then take fillets of the corners. So I'm going to click rectangle, and I know that that rectangle is 2.5 and 1.5 inches. So I got 2.5 inches in depth, and there we go. On top of that, I've got 3 circles that I'm going to be involved in on that base plate. Now what I want to do is I want all these circles to be the same dimension, so I'm going to hold the Shift key, click all of them. Oh, and dimension. Let me dimension all these same time. No, I thought I could get away with it. So each hole is 0.25 inches. And each hole is also 0.375 away. Oop. I'm going to change that. I forgot my 3. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to do the same thing here. And I now have my 3 circles fully dimensioned. I'm going to click Finish Sketch, and I'm going to extrude. My depth of my plate is 0.25 inches, but I'm on the wrong side of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to flip over, find the bottom, and go from here. So now I've got my 3 holes, and I need to put my tombstone piece in. I'm going to round off these 2 corners first. I'm going to click Fillet these 2 corners, and I want the radius to be 0.375 inches as well. Now the only piece I need to work on is that tombstone piece. I'm going to rotate to the back side, click Start, New Sketch, and that piece I know has 2 long sides and a bottom piece. Now what I've done really quickly is I have added a circle. There we go. I have added a half circle with 3 long straight line pieces with as well. When you are doing lines in Inventor, if you hold down the left mouse button, so after I do a line, you can hold down the left mouse button and allow you to do a curve as well. Alright? If you don't like the curve, just hit Control Z and try again. Alright? So I'm going to hit line, say if I want the curve to go to the left. Alright, and you can try it out. It takes a little bit of practice to get used to. But in here, my dimension of my side piece looks like a 1.75 minus 0.5, so 1.25. And my dimensions here are 0.5 as well. And dimension of cross is 1 inch. On top of that, I need to put my circle. Make sure I get in there on that circle, where it has the radius or diameter of 0.5. Forgot to type in my point. So I'm going to go in here, click on 0.5. There we go. Hit Finish Sketch, and I'm going to go ahead and extrude this piece inwards, 0.25 inches. Now Inventor sometimes wants to to do stuff for me. What automatically chose was a cut feature, and that was going to cut away material. I want it to add material, so I'm going to click join, and I've got my piece here. All right. However, it looks like the thickness of that piece wasn't quite right. So I'm going to click on this extrusion, and this extrusion is actually 0.375 inches. That looks right. So I'm going to save this part as part E and close out on this. To go to my drawing file, I'm going to get new drawing file, type in your name, and project title part E. Click OK. Put in my base. I'm going to bring in my base of part E, and I'm going to rotate this around until I find a view that I find appropriate. And this, I think, would look most appropriate. So I'm going to do my front, right, top, ISO. Click OK. On that ISO, I'm going to add shading. The next piece I need to do is do my dimensions. So my dimensions here are for all my height and widths. So I'm going to dimension, I'm going to click on dimension, show my overall height, and width and depth. What I'm also going to do is talk about this tombstone piece first before I talk about the holes. Now the depth of that tombstone piece I'm going to show right here. And the width of the tombstone piece I'm going to put right here. Alrighty. It looks like I've got my height, width, and depth of this tombstone piece. I just need the thickness of the plate right here. That part looks fully dimensioned. What I also need to do now is I need to include dimensions for all these circles. So when you do dimensions for circles, you need to include dimensions of how far apart the circles are from each other. Now I did from the outside, so I'm going to need to fix that. I'm actually going to do it from the inside. Dimension of the inside of this circle to the inside of this circle. Inside of this circle to inside of this circle. And I also need to include how far apart that circle from the wall is. Zoom in a little bit. It's being a little finicky with me. So for each circle, we have how far it is away from the side walls. We should have 2 for each circle, since there's 2 walls for each circle. And we are good to go. Now what I am going to do is I'm going to dimension this circle. So that is 0.25. Now if you notice on your original it says diameter of 0.25 through all 3 holes. So what I'm going to do is do part 3. I'm going to type in through 3 times. And that has me type in that each hole has a diameter of 0.25 inches, and it is through all 3 of them. And that will be it as far as the holes on the base plate go. But now I need to put the holes on the, I would call it the tombstone looking piece. Now, it's got a diameter. And we also have a radius right here. And last thing is going to be my center lines. So what I'm going to do is click on right click, automated center lines, and click 1, 3, 5, 7, and 8. Right click, automated center lines, 1, 3, 5, 7, and 8 are all clicked. One more time, right click, automated center lines, 1, 3, 5, 7, and 8. And all of my center lines are done for me rather quickly. I'm going to hit save this as part E. And I'm also going to take a screenshot as well. Make sure to save your screenshot and be able to submit it to Schoology. If you have any questions, let me know.